I've put those light edges on, and now what I'd like to do is to run a few splits through it. My colors here, considerable contrast. That'll help you to see. More clearly on the video what you want to get done. You can pull some splits through in a variety of places. These hard, crisp lines, in contrast with what the airbrush did, and give you a nice, soft appearance. The softness comes from the contrast between the blends and the hard lines. When these quills are finally put in there, they set everything off. You need to brighten, shine those quills. I'm going to switch over now to this hand canvas back and try and show you how I got these effects. First of all, I'll need to create some shadows on the lower parts of a variety of feathers here. In most cases, this is what's carved into the bird. It gives me an opportunity to preserve the roundness and the shapes that are carved in. I'm going to hit some of those just so that the shadows under any light and any circumstances remain. The whole belly area under direct lighting would be shadowed. That should pretty well do that. Next, what I'll do is shadow some of the bases of the feathers. On this bird, the bases of the feather are darker than the edge. So what we'll do is, this feather here is quite prominent. What I'd like to do is block out this feather in favor of darkening the base on that one. In this case, I'm just going to take my thumb and I'm going to lay it right along the edge of that feather. And create a dark base. Then working my way into now, I could have done that just as well with a template like this. So as a for instance, if I cover over this feather, I can spray in that base. In this case where I use my thumb, the edge, because my thumb is removed from there and not tight down against as though I use the template, I get a little softer edge, a little bit softer appearance instead of such a hard line as was created by the use of the template. Your thumb is also infinitely adjustable to the shapes. You can push and tug a little bit on it and make it work for the shape of the feather that you're dealing with. Now then, I can take my sable brushes and that dark value and run some splits through here. I'm not interested in tons of them, but I want to establish the flow of the feathers. And what I'll do now is lighten the edges. As I mentioned before, the edges are lighter than the bases, so I can put some tips on there. This whole area is going to get vermiculated. So if I can create a little interest before the vermiculation is put on, at least some of that will remain after I've covered this area over with its vermiculation. So we get to lay some of these tips, the bright edges, onto the dark bases. And what I like to do when I vermiculate it is to work from split to split, if you will, to make the vermiculation is a series of it's a dot pattern, but it's a series of hills and valleys. So if I could work from this split to this split, it would give me, generally I'll work from the quill out, a hill that ends from the center quill to this split, and then I can take that hill, extend it to that split, and take that hill and extend it to that split. Oftentimes where the feather splits, it will offset the vermiculation, or the pattern of vermiculation. Now here again, I would do this in a very subtle, muted color the first time through. I'm doing this here a little bit darker so that it shows up on the camera. But you can see what I can do is I can take each of the little groupings, portions of that feather where the splits are, and work them on into the pattern.